right, guys, welcome to the Buyer's Box. We have a special guest with us here today, Mr. Travis McClure. Travis, can you tell a little bit about yourself for the listeners who may not know who you are?
Yeah, I guess like anybody, I have an interesting, and I'm gonna use air quotes, real estate career. I've been in the sales industry. Now I'll be 45 this year. I've been selling stuff for 25 years. I'm sorry, 20 years. I started when I was 25, working in like retail sales, which then involved at some point real estate. I now work for a tech company called Easy Home Search. Of course, we're a national lead gen portal. We just launched a CRM called SureSend. But it's an interesting perspective. I think I have in real estate. It's an interesting seat I get to sit in terms of I've been an agent, I've been a team leader, I've worked in brokerage leadership, and now evolved into this role as the VP of sales at Easy Home Search, where last year I was looking at stats before I got this call. I was on 1,200 Zoom calls last year in 2025 with team leaders
Whoa,
all over the country. Yeah, but
that's
that's
cool.
cool. Like literally what I get to do for a living is talk to all these different team leaders and agents in different markets and hear all this different perspective, what's working, what are they struggling with, things like that.
We definitely use some easy products ourselves. So I really think you guys have a good market, whether it's a single agent, a team, a brokerage. You guys offer a lot of really, really cool stuff. And we'll kind of dive into that a little bit later in the episode. But I kind of wanted, we were kind of chatting about what we were going to talk about on this podcast. And I think the idea of talking about a single agent potentially looking to join a team and maybe some of the things that they could be asking or looking for would be really big. And I think we really kind of want to focus on like the lead side of it. So being a
Mhm.
portal company, being a guy that's probably worked a lot of different leads, you want to maybe share some of the different lead sources that maybe you've worked in the past and maybe we, kind of go back and forth on that.
Driving into my office this morning, I was thinking about this podcast and I was like, man, if I was a brand new agent right now, like if I was going to start a real estate career right now, of course, a lot has changed. When I was a brand new agent back, 10 plus years ago, there wasn't all these like teams out there, right? It was more of a solo agent. You joined a brokerage and then you kind of figured it all out on your own.
Right.
Nowadays, there's lots of teams out there, right? Like, obviously your team and you have these teams that add agents and they have lots of things they offer. And that's the world agents are in when they're out looking for a team. And we were kind of chatting a little bit before we jumped on here. I believe it was EXP or one of those larger companies put out a stat that agents on teams are across the country are 79% more productive than a solo agent, right? An agent just operating in a vacuum by themselves. That's huge.
Mind
You-
blowing.
yeah, that's mind blowing. Like, yeah, think about that. I mean, if you did uh, you think about the amount of transactions you did last year if you were a sole agent. If you were on a team, you do 80% more transactions. So I was thinking about like if I was out there, what top three things would I look for? And lead sources is I jotted down three things, but lead sources is one of the things I looked at. We can dive right into that. You need a
Okay.
team. I think you and Allie do a really good job of this. That take what I consider a blended approach to bringing leads into the brokerage. And what I mean by that, like when I got into real estate 10 plus years ago, you had to be really good face to face with people and you had to
Yep.
be good on the phone,
Yeah.
right? Like I could make calls, I get people on the phone, I can get an appointment, I could close them, right? I didn't have to worry about all these other things like social media, email, maybe a little bit, but not so much. If I did some open houses and people came in, I got face to face, I got lead sources. But now there's so many different avenues to get leads. And I think you need a team that teaches all these different avenues. When I first got in real estate, you kind of had a couple different choices. There was teams that would teach you really heavy cold call prospecting skills. And I think that's gotten more challenging, right? Because a lot of people aren't answering the phone as much as they were.
Yeah.
So I think this blended approach in 2026, obviously I would run a sales team here at Easy Home Search. I think this blended approach even now goes into like social media and email. You have to have all these skills in your belt, right? You're always going to have to be good face to face when you meet somebody. You're always going to have to be good on the phone. And now you have to also be good at sending email marketing or on a team that sends really good email marketing, right? Because email
Yeah.
marketing is important, or are they even getting it?
Yeah.
You have to be really good as a salesperson in 2026. You have to have, and you guys do a great job at this. you have to be a marketer also. Like you have to be out there, post 3 to 5 times a day. I know like our sales team is coached by Alex Cheplack, John Cheplack's, son,
Yep.
and Alex focuses mainly on social media marketing. He teaches you to be your own marketing department.
And the guy's wild,
10 years,
but he's so
it is,
good.
but yeah, and 10 years ago that wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
I was definitely the salesperson of mindset. You put me in front of somebody, I'll sell them something.
Right.
Right. I don't need social media. 2 years ago, I can be quoted like saying things like this. Like, I don't need that. That's a waste of time. That's not dollar productive. Fast forward 2 years, I can tell you in my day as a sales professional, and I think for real estate agents, friend requesting people on Facebook and creating good value added content, and you guys do it too, is probably some of the more dollar productive things I do in my day.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not saying like I still pick up the phone and I still send text messages and I still send email, but that's also another thing, another part of that blended approach to what we do.
Yeah, I was getting a
So
haircut this morning, and my barber was like, "You're just posting all sorts of stuff all over on Facebook," and like,
yeah,
I love it, right? And the first question is like, "Why are you doing it?" Right? And I was like, "Well, it definitely puts you out there. People in the community see you. Me and Allie as the team leaders, like when we sit down and interview agents potentially joining, like they already have some credibility before they even partner with us because of our
yeah,
social media presence and." We definitely learned from Alex Cheplack that adding people on Facebook is huge. So, we
yeah.
got courted and we've been calling agents, about joining the team. And if I don't get them on the phone, that's okay. Because look, I get it. People are busy, but I'll go on Facebook and I'll go add them as a friend and shoot them a quick DM and see if a meeting makes sense. So that makes definitely helps.
And if you're a realtor, I mean, it's challenging when you're a realtor to figure out like who do I friend on Facebook. But you got to figure out like who's your in any sales, in any business person, you got to figure out like who's your avatar, right? And as a realtor, maybe you have certain neighborhoods, certain friend groups, things like that that you want to market to. Those are the people that you friend, first off. And then second off, what I noticed is when I started doing it, I've been doing it consistently for about 5 months. Like, and I'm not like a social media like I'm
Uh,
getting there, right? It's a
yeah.
developing skill for me that I'm adding to my toolbox. But I noticed right away the difference of getting on a sales call and having my sales calls be, maybe an hour plus long to now it's like I don't have to demo as much or talk through as much because they've consumed content. And
Yep.
when I'm sitting in front of them, really, the call is now focused about them versus what I want to need to show them. So if you're an agent and, especially like think about if you can educate a seller before you get to their house because they've been consuming your content,
Yep.
now the listing point is less of you doing a presentation and more of them telling you what they need to get their home sold.
Yeah. All right. So I think first one, kind of wrapping it back. So first one is looking for a team that is well focused on lots of different channels. Um,
Correct.
and I kind of call I say to our agents all the time, and it's maybe a weird way to put it, but I'm like, we just have multiple fishing poles out there in the pond.
Yeah.
And we're just waiting for one of them to bite, and we know one of them's going to bite, right? Kind of same way, like hey, go fish out of the pond, and for leads, and you're going to get opportunities. So, all right, so definitely a team that's well rounded in marketing. What would be the next thing that you'd look for, Travis?
So that aspect for sure. What that would lead me into is lead sources, and we kind of talked a little bit about that. And there's a lot of different places teams will get leads from, and I think that's an important question. Like, where do the leads come from? That team is bringing in, and there's that team could have PPC. Of course, you got your Zillow teams, and a lot of markets they're now what they call Zillow Flex. We can kind of talk about like what that means, and that's not a bad word, but it
Yeah.
just means it means a lot to the agent, right? If you hear them say, "Hey, we're a flex team," and then there's portals like Easy Home Search, right? That take a different approach from a Zillow Flex, and of course, maybe they have a huge database that they let you go in and call and things like that. So I want to know those questions, and I think what agents like I didn't think this way when I was a young agent breaking in, but like especially with the Zillow Flex question, yes, a Zillow lead has value in the sense, your team leader is likely putting you on the phone with somebody who's ready to see a home right now. That's not a bad thing. However, I'm not sure of the Myrtle Beach market, but I know there's markets across the country, Andrew, where that team has to pay a 40% referral fee to Zillow. Again, that's just
Huge.
part of what it costs to do business, but that comes out of somewhere. And I was on the phone with a team the other day. Actually, I had two separate calls with teams in other markets. The one team said, "Hey, 52% of our team's business is Zillow Flex."
Mm.
And I was like, okay, and we're breaking down things like that. The team only profits about $2,000 per transaction and their average commission starts at around 10,000. And by the time Zillow takes their cut and they pay an agent, the team only makes 2,000. If you do the numbers, the agent's probably making about the same
Yeah.
on a lead that Lord knows how many hours they've put into showing them homes, finding a house, writing offers, things like that. There's another team I was on the phone with. 82% of their business is Zillow
Mm.
Flex, right? So these are questions you want to ask. Are you a Flex team, and what percentage of the closings last year were
Yeah.
Flex? And again, these aren't bad things. It's not a bad thing if they're a Flex team. It's just it's a red flag if it's 82% or 50% or higher of their business, because what that means is, and in this instance, the team I was talking to, the average take home for an agent and the average take home for the team was right around $1,000.
Mm. Not
Think
good.
about that in a $400,000 market. Let's say, your commission would be what? You know what I
10,
mean? Potentially what?
12%. 10,
Yeah,
12,000. Yeah.
yeah, closer to that, right? And then there's a split. So you start asking questions, things like that. So the Zillow word's not a bad word, but like, hey, what percentage of the team's closings last year were Zillow Flex closings? I want to know that answer if
Yeah.
I'm an agent. What are your thoughts on that?
So when I sit down and interview, I really have this open book policy. I pull up our Follow Up Boss account and I want to show the agent the opportunity. So
Yeah.
we're not as, we've never done anything with Zillow. We've always done PPC, sphere of influence, past clients, events, things like that. And
Mhm.
that's allowed our agents and our team to remain profitable and stay in business, even when a market might downturn a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
I think the other thing that we super focus on as well is like we focus on the skill of
Mhm.
conversion, right? So, I hear from agents all the time, they're like, "Oh, just give me someone that's ready to buy." And I think most salespeople, if they're in sales, could get pretty much anyone to buy if they're lined up, in front of them.
Right.
However, a large p part of our job as a realtor oftentimes is prospecting for business.
Mhm.
And I tell our agents we're going to empower you to prospect better, no matter what line of whether it's you're doing calls, you're doing open houses, you're doing past clients. Like we want you to be able to prospect better and convert at a higher rate, so that
Right.
make more money. So all right, so leads are super big.
Yeah.
Asking good questions around that seems really important.
Yep.
You mentioned a third. What's your third?
The third ties in. Well, the third to me would be culture. If I had to go into like what's important to me, and it's funny because I was thinking about this. I've really worked for like two leaders or maybe two companies in my real estate career. Right, I started with a larger brokerage in town that had really good culture. They were great leaders, had a great experience. And of course, I then, transitioned to work with Preston Guyton and his real estate team brokerage, and then kind of came over to the tech world with him. And again, experience different, but also a really good culture. And in my career, the red flag is when someone tells you they have good culture, right? To me, culture is a thing you just feel, right? It's like, how did you feel, like something you just mentioned, a small thing, like you turn the laptop around, I'm going to show you everything we have going on in Follow Up Boss, right? Like
Yeah,
that's a sign to me that, like, hey, you're a servant leader and you want to be transparent with people. It's, if they have a receptionist, how did that person treat you? What
right.
are they happy doing what they do, right? Do they genuinely seem like they enjoy being there? What's the some of the other agents? Reach out to them. Are they happy? Look at Google reviews, right? Like,
All
what's
big
their like?
things.
That's a big indicator too if a company has good culture. Like, how do they treat people outside of the organization? And if someone had a bad experience, how did they handle it?
Yeah.
Right? To me, those are a lot of things that I think are super important that I would also research. Um, because culture, if you make a bad cultural choice, it can hurt your development, right? Like what you're, especially as a new agent, what you're learning, it's typically could set you back, months, if not years, trying to figure out if that culture is good or bad. So I would do a lot of that research on the front end. So almost vet that
Yeah.
that team.
I tell all agents that we meet with that we think it's important for them to interview multiple teams, right?
Hmm. Yep.
It's a big decision. For most people, this is going to be their full-time career. This is what they're doing, take care of their loved ones, their family, their friend, all that good things. And um, I think it's also really important to like understand splits because um,
Hmm.
I learned really early on that if the split is the most important part of the conversation, the agent's always going to probably run to when they find a little bit of a better split. So,
Yeah.
and I really tell agents and really challenge them, especially, hey, go talk to that team over there. They may have a different split, but like, what are you getting for said value, right?
Right.
Um, because you kind of touched on Zillow, and again, nothing wrong with Zillow Flex or any of their leads, but
Hmm.
if you're paying 40% off the top to some other entity, you know, kind of already hit on it. You're going to make little to no money.
Right.
Um, so that's definitely super important. I think for our team, we really focus on trying to create a good culture. And, I think the big thing for a lot of team leaders and a lot of agents that are, looking to join a team, like, it is super smart to do all the things, look at the reviews, talk to the agents, talk to staff, see what you're feeling that you get on it. So, all
Right.
right. I definitely like talking about, the potential team. I kind of wanted to chat a little bit about also, kind of what you do over at Easy Home and kind of like
Yeah.
what you got to work on and kind of like maybe some of the technology or support that you could give an agent or a team. Um, so yeah, you want to shoot?
Yeah, so I guess kind of diving into like easy home search as a whole, we're a national lead gen portal. So when I use words like Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, that's what I mean. Or if you go to our website, you can search all over the country. We take a different approach, and as all portals and businesses should. So we're a little bit different. Neat part about our company is we're also a tech company. So we kind of lead with tech and we provide leads to companies as well. So we have some partners or teams or companies, we call them partners. They come to us and they sign up for lead gen, and we include a lot of our tech with our lead gen. And then we have some teams that we work with, like you guys, that come to us just for our tech, right? And then
Yeah,
they use our tech to convert to a lead gen, which is awesome to us too. Like our passion is helping teams grow. Like if I had to say, like, what's our mission? If we have a team as a partner, a tech partner, or a lead gen partner, we want to help them grow. And cool part about our company is, founded by Preston Guyton, people like myself, a lot of our people that have helped build this company, we all have roots to the real estate industry. We come from the trenches. So
right.
everything we do in Easy Home Search comes with the perspective. If I was Andrew running a team today, would this make sense? Right. And the newest product that we're excited about that's really available for anybody and everyone is SureSense CRM. It's just another option, right? If you're, we've been Follow Boss users for years. Follow Boss is great CRM. There's lots of other good CRMs, but SureSense is just another option, right? So SureSense a open API, meaning you can plug in all your other tech components to it. We have everything from, if you're a solo agent, like, hey, I'm looking at other CRMs, or I run a massive team. We have all the options in between on SureSense CRM. So that's the latest and greatest product we have out there. And then, of course, our lead generation operates off of what we call full county exclusivity. What's unique about us is we only partner from a lead gen standpoint with one team or one agent in every single county across the country. So once that county is sold, we don't sell leads to anybody else in that county. That team off of our national portal will get every buyer lead, every seller lead, and all direct and organic traffic.
That's super cool. Now,
Yeah.
I know we use a little, some of your guys' tech. I think what we liked a lot about it is, you guys have the widget inside of Follow Up Boss to where you can set
Yep.
people up on searches. And, obviously as a team owner, like getting access to a lot of different MLSs is very expensive. And
Mhm.
it was really, and I had the idea early on, like I want to get all the Carolinas, right? I wanted to have North and South Carolina on my website, and I wanted to be
Yeah.
able to, set them up on the search and get them connected with an agent, whether they're a partnered agent or referral agent. And as I looked into that, it was way, way expensive, right? Like it was never going to make sense. So, like now that we have your guys' tool, if I get someone on the phone that's like in upstate, South Carolina that I don't have access to that MLS, I still get to set them up on a search. I get
Yeah.
noti
That's
Yeah, I get notified of everything that they're looking at, just like so they're on, say like my YLOPO site or anything else we have, and it's really helped us pass off better referrals. And the referral partners that we have partnered with throughout the Carolinas, they love when we're sending leads because they know that we've teed them up, and it's like
right.
you're not just chasing their tail essentially to you know, from a lead that they got from another team or another agent. So that's been super cool. We've definitely done some of the SureSend demos, and it looks really, really cool. I can't wait to get our hands on it. When is that releasing, or the idea around release for, general public on that one?
So what we launched, and I want to revisit Easy Connect for a second because today's actually the 1 year anniversary since we launched
Oh,
it.
cool.
It's literally 1 year old today, our Easy Connect with technology. But SureSend, we launched mid-January. We wrapped up our beta phase of SureSend CRM. We started integrating and onboarding teams that pre-purchased, like they took advantage of the pre-purchase at Conversion Con. So they bought 1 year up front. We onboarded between 10 and 20 teams a week, pretty much from middle of January all the way to now. March 1st, all of our full county exclusive partners, they get access to SureSend as part of full county exclusivity. So
Wow.
they'll be onboarded March 1st. Not they get every team gets 2 seats, right? So
Okay.
let's say you're a Follow Boss user. SureSend actually makes a great admin dashboard. There's an API integration that'll give you an admin overview of your leads in Follow Boss, as well as all the uh, there's like email sending technology built in there, similar to like MailChimp or SendGrid and things like that is all in there as well. So all our partners will have access to that March 1st. And then April 1st, we start selling where you don't have to buy a whole year up front. You can actually sign up month to month. And like if you're a solo user or something like that. So April 1st, that'll go live. But on
Do,
the Easy Connect agent is pretty neat. We launched that 1 year ago today. I looked this morning, had nothing to do with this podcast. I forgot that you would even bring that up. I'd actually posted it to Facebook. We have 5,400 agents utilizing that
that's
nationwide. Like
wild.
5,400. Yeah, it's
In a
really cool.
year, that's really great
Yeah, and
growth.
the growth on that product is cool. So obviously it integrates, it's a widget within Follow Boss. It integrates. But now that widget also lives within SureSend. So now it's a mixed group of users. So if you said, hey, SureSend's a good fit for our team, that widget it also lives in there as well.
Do
So
you guys plan on like in the future doing a SureSend and the Easy Widget like combo maybe? Is that
you're saying for Follow Boss?
no, no, like so let's just say an agent says, "Oh, I want to get SureSend and I want to use the Easy Widget." Are you guys going to offer maybe like a package deal on that in the future?
Yeah, you'll be able to sign up. We're actually launching a product here shortly after April 1st. I don't know. Preston has announced this. He's put it on Facebook. So I was thinking it has Preston, even though like I said to sell it. After April 1st, there's gonna be a product where an agent can actually go in and launch a full-blown like website, like set not a subdomain page of Easy Home Search, but an actual like website builder built into SureSend. So if you want to like have your own website that's not an Easy Home Search page, you'll be able to have that live within SureSend too. So and the thought process behind it for us is be able to just log into one thing, right? If I was a team leader or an agent, I don't want to have to log in here and then log in over here to create a save search, right? Like I just want to log into one thing. So that's coming and that's
So
exciting.
will the Easy Widget like live on that website? So like if say a client was to go to the website, they could still search homes?
The national portal access would be separate. That's in the easy widget, so it's almost like its own thing.
Got it.
Um,
Okay.
you can definitely access that within SureSend, and
Okay.
then like if you launch like your own agent site, that'll be a separate thing as well.
Got it.
Yeah, so that's really exciting. I think that's the cool part about our company. When I look back, like you get those Facebook memories and stuff. Or being at a tech company, you literally evolve in like 2 week. Everything's different 2 weeks
Yeah.
later, right? I was talking to my sales team. I lead our sales team here, and I was talking about, I was like, hey, like what I'm talking about right now in 2 weeks will be different, right? And I can tell you 6 months from now it will be completely different. And like real estate moves at a fast pace by itself, but when you're on the tech side of real estate,
Even
it literally
faster.
is like a million miles an hour. Yeah.
Well, and I think the really cool thing, even kind of tying this back to social media, I I I don't know how, but I became friends with Preston on Facebook years ago.
Yeah.
And I remember watching you guys build palms. And that was super
Mhm.
cool to watch, and then,
Yeah.
I remember actually taking your like one of your guys' Sierra sites and said, "Hey, I want to mimic this." And they
Mhm.
pulled up like what you guys were doing there, and they're like, "You're gonna have to hire like a whole full department of people." So like, what you guys have been able to accomplish has been like really, really, really cool to see. Like, even within the same market. Um, so definitely excited to see what you guys come out with because I know Sherson initially when it was real was kind of teased to be launched like there's email deliverability and then it
Yeah.
was the CRM and now AI is going to do all this stuff and I think you guys are really building something that a lot of people in the industry are really looking for that we might not necessarily have right now or we can have maybe inside of our Follow Up Boss CRM, but you got to add on all these different things. um, and our team personally, we weren't a Follow Up Boss user for gosh years. I started out, with an all-in-one with Boomtown. Then I
Hmm.
went to Sync, and I tried
Yeah.
Lofty for a while. And Lofty was really cool. Really liked the CRM.
Yeah.
I guess I got Fault Boss, I guess, about three years ago, and I really like that you've been able to add things on and take things off as it has or hasn't worked, and can add things into our business as we grow. Um,
Yeah.
so that's been super cool. So, Travis, I really appreciate you coming on today. If anyone wanted to reach out to you, had any questions about anything that you do over there with EZ, how could they contact you?
I would say two ways. Number one, Facebook. Just look me up on Facebook. I love connecting with people there. I definitely post fun stuff about my family, but then also fun stuff about Easy Home Search as well. That's where you'll find all that. Or if you're just really curious in general, you can go to partner with EZ, the letters E and Z.com. That's where you'll find out about our national lead gen stuff. If you're like, hey, the SureSend CRM sounds cool, it's just suresend.ai.
That's super. All right, man. Well, I really appreciate you coming on the show, and hopefully have a great day.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thank you.